Hi, my name is Morrison. I compose and produce, and I do that under the name Morloff.
I'm Christoph. I'm a producer, and my DJ name is ICTV, and together we're Horsemen. I suppose we met in Berlin in around 2015. I had a roommate from the Netherlands, and that was a friend of Morrison, and then one day Morrison came to visit, and I think he also met his girlfriend here, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, true. I got heartbroken, and then my friend was like, "Come to Berlin. This is the place to be." I came to Berlin. I met Chris. We made beautiful music, and indeed, at that time, I met a lovely girl. That's very true. Yes. I was mostly writing pieces in production for people, but I was also performing a bit. It was not the focus mainly, mostly producing for me.
I released my first record in 2012, and I had like a couple of different aliases during the years, and it took me some time to find my home.
It's quite silly. We were both a bit down and not in the best mental state, I would say. But we were doing good music. And in between, we would watch stuff like BoJack Horseman. And then one day during a question of, can you send demos? We were like, yeah, but now what? So we just called it Horsemen. And that kind of stuck. And we're happy with it today, right? I mean,
yeah. There's not much more to it.
No, there's not a real big story or something.
It's not the most convenient as you can imagine, because it's different if you can meet up every week. But over time we developed some habits that work pretty well for us. So mostly it's just sending projects back and forth. One person starts with the idea, and then I listen to the ideas maybe, and I say, oh, I like this, can you send that over? And then that's one way of working. We're also trying to do stuff online via Zoom, which is cool, and then from time to time we meet up.
Yeah, and then we just try to make as many demos as we can. And considering we're both quite experienced in producing music and composing, it goes quick. So when we're here for a couple days, we try to make 6-8 tracks and then work on it slowly throughout the rest of the year. I think this one is slightly more challenging, but at the same time, I think because we both have experience and kind of know what we like, it works out. But for instance, on yesterday's gig with Sisyphos, we were a bit more chaotic than normally, I would say. We were just sending over records, and this one, maybe that one, and but there's a lot of trust. After working together for such a long time, there's trust in what we do, and I feel like no matter what record he's gonna pick, I'm not gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be a banger,
Yeah, it's kind of similar. We each do our own diggings. Sometimes if we find something cool, we send some stuff around that we like at the moment, and then before the gig sometimes we send over a little package here and there, and then maybe we're like, this and this is kind of the style I want to go for, and the rest we'll just go with the flow.
And we have to give Chris a lot of credit. He is the real connoisseur digger. Like, I have less time with all the productions that I do, but man, like I said, trust is a big thing in working together. Got into psychedelic rock, became a drummer at several bands, and then started to write with the lead singer and got addicted to writing and composing over time.
For me, it also started kind of in school, getting into rock music, punk rock, grunge, all these things, and then definitely playing the guitar, and never really had a school band. We tried, but it was just not the right timing, but that was kind of the start of it all. Growing up in Berlin, coming to a certain age, you start to discover club culture, and with that also came fascination for electronic music and house music in particular. And yeah, that's where it all started.
Somewhat it's similar. I mean, I started out with way heavier stuff, grime, drum and bass. But like I said, like, you break your heart once, you go to Berlin, you've got a friend who makes house, you start to make house together, and it kind of grew upon me. I mean, I grew up in Outland Records in Amsterdam. That's where I was from the age of 12. So I had a strong connection to house, but it was never this feeling like, oh, I'm going to make house as well. But yeah, that's how it goes. And now we're here, really happy that I make house. Low-key happy because last year I made a huge U-turn back into the psychedelics and back into jazz and all that sort of thing. So, you know, it's not always linear, you know. We do a bit of both, I guess, these days.
I would say for me it's the Alpha Juno 2, which is from Roland, and just has such an amazing, warm, deep sound that I really couldn't find in any plugin yet.
On my end, depends a bit on the genre. There's a sonic character to each genre that I produce. But when it comes to house, I really enjoy the Korg 800. And it's a sort of like FM synthesizer supposed to compete with a Juno. What's nice about this one, it's really dusty and it's really singy, and it doesn't really work as it's supposed to work, but that kind of makes the magic happen. So that's nice. And in terms of like soft synths, I would say plugins is the JC1080 is really a big favorite of mine. Yeah. It's one of the first ones I bought. I actually bought it from another DJ friend in Amsterdam. It's a Choki Sativa, and it's just lush, round basses, good chords, everything you want to have when you have a good smoke. And it's house.
For me, that would be a recent record that's called She Got It by Zensala, and I also got this from a friend. It's a really simple tech house record that always works on every dance floor.
Low-key, our own release that just came out on SLABS is not gonna leave my bag at all, ever. It's fantastic.
At the moment, we just recently had our last release, which is the SLABS 03. And currently we're working on lots of new material. We're looking to do a podcast with only unreleased tracks of our own.
And I think like we've decided to minimalize a bit of our production style, also in relation to that we live far away from each other. So when we make Horsemen records, we really try to keep similar synths working and keep this sort of like sonic profile in the same direction. But it's not just Horsemen that we both work on. Chris is doing fantastic engineering work, and I'm very happy to say that I'm signing new publishing deals for the albums that I do on the side. So there's a beautiful future to look at for 2025. And of course, not to forget this beautiful residency that we've got going on here.